Hey, how you doing out there in YouTube land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, today, as you can see, I got some interesting fellas to look at here. This is my Italian 4 Max. This is my U.S. 4 Max. And this one right here is the new AD-10. Production from Cold Steel. Permission granted from Andrew Demko. It's supposed to be just like one of his customs. Just got it today. Also have the Scorpion on the way too. Let you guys know when that one comes in. But this thing is super smooth. The only gripe I have with it is you can see some of the tang sticking out from the handle. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or if that is a production flaw. I'm going to contact Cold Steel and find out. But other than that, this thing is perfect. I like the weight of it. It's very maneuverable. To me, AD-10s have always been like a big lawman, like a big American lawman. But this sucker works beautifully. And the finish on it, except for that one part that I'm showing you, is perfect. I'll let you look at all of it. I assume this is an aluminum backspacer, but I'm not sure. It could be G10. I absolutely love this knife. I would highly recommend it. Like I said, the only thing I have a qualm with is the way the tang sticks out. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. I know in the AD-15 the tang is supposed to stick out. But all the pictures I've seen of AD-10s, it looks like the tang doesn't stick out. I don't know if that's a flaw, factory flaw, or if that's the way that these are being made. I'm not sure. If that is the way that they're being made, that's different from the Andrew Demko version. This right here is my Italian 4 Max. This came to me perfect. Flawless. There's nothing wrong with this thing. It hasn't been messed with or anything at all. It's just the way it came from the factory. And it is flawless. I highly recommend these. On the other hand, my American 4 Max has some flaws. Number one, the lock bar, it sinks down too far. It should be up here like this, and yet it sinks down, I don't know, maybe about 1/16 of an inch too far or something like that. And it sort of bugs me, you know, because as much as I pay for this, I expect it to be perfect. No, it's not. But other than that, the handle's perfect. The blade edge wasn't as nice as the Italian one either. Whoever sharpened this at the factory didn't do as good of a job as they did on the Italian factory. And also the markings are kind of like faded looking. I don't know, they're not as dark as on my Italian. I don't know if you can see that. In fact, that one has a dark 4 Max. And the other one doesn't. So I've already contacted Cold Steel, and they told me to send me the American one to them, so they could check it out, take a look at it, and see what they could do. Because I don't want to trade this one for an Italian one, because I know that they don't make these no more. But it'd be great if if they can't do anything else but like give me a fresh edge and maybe trade out this lock bar. When I looked at the lock bars, when I compared it to my Italian version, The Italian lock bar is a little bit longer. I don't know if you could tell that, but it comes further this way, and this one is shorter. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but that's what I noticed. And maybe, and, you know, that little bit of difference would make the difference with how it seats into the tang of the blade. Instead of going all the way down, like it does here, it would sit up higher, like about like this. Even with the scales. That's what I expect, you know, for a knife that costs almost $400 or whatever. You know, I expect it to be a little bit better made than that. But this one, I really like it. I really like it. Let me read you the specs on it. The steel is S35VN. The weight is 6.9 ounces. Blade length is 3.5 inches. It's a little bit over 3.5 inches. Overall length is 8 3/4. Handle is 5 1/4 G10. And it's G10 and aluminum. It has aluminum, fully heat treated aluminum liners. I love these liners. I wish Cold Steel would do this in more of their knives. They have full length liners. I know that they don't really need them because the G10 is really tough, but aesthetically it just looks better. It just looks more finished. It looks more expensive, especially in their higher priced knives. Maybe that might be something they want to consider, because I really like the way that looks. And I know if I was to take this apart, I could polish the aluminum and make the aluminum look like chrome. And the same thing with the back, with the lock bar, like I've done some other knives in my past. Or I could just leave it like this. But this knife is super smooth. Right out the box, it's super smooth. And the lock bar functions flawlessly. It functions perfectly. The only part I have a question about is the fitment right here. I don't know if the tang is supposed to be exposed like that. It seems like it shouldn't be. I mean, it's not the Scorpion lock one. And the AD-10, the tang's not exposed. But I don't know if that's the way they're coming from the factory, if that's the way they're going to be, or what. I need it. If Cold Steel or anybody sees this, could you let me know? I'd be interested to find out. But this knife is awesome. I would say it's a must-have. Compared to how much the custom costs, this is $500 or $600 cheaper. And I like this just as much. True, it's not physically made by Andrew Demko, my favorite knife maker. But I'm a working class man. I'm a working class budget. And I buy all my own knives, so this is one I could afford. Thank you, Andrew, for allowing the Taiwan company to make these, so the rest of us can afford them. I think you're probably gonna I think it's gonna work out good for you too in the long run, because I know you're gonna sell a ton of these. I know you're gonna get your cut of it. So I think it's a good deal for everybody. But the blade is perfect. The grinds are symmetrical on each side. The grinds on the edge are perfect. I love it. Let me compare it to something else. Here's one of my tried and true knives I've carried for years. I've been carrying these ever since they were the AUS-8 with the thicker handles. This is the one I carry now. But to me, these two are very similar. This one's like the big buff brother, and this is a little skinny brother. That'd be the way I'd put it. But the handle grips pretty much the same. The Lawman's a little bit more comfortable, to tell you the truth. I'm holding them now. But it's got the same type of handle grip where you have the choil in the front and you can grip up on the choil. I bet you Andrew made this one from this one with the idea that he's making an inexpensive AD-10 that Cold Steel could still sell. But this one's 3.8 millimeters thick and this one is 3.5 millimeters thick. Look how reinforced the tip looks on the AD-10. It's a beautiful blade. This is going to be an everyday carry for me. I will carry this one a lot. I'm probably going to have to get one. Cause whenever I get one that I carry, I always get another one that I collect. Just I never mess with and I just let it collect. But I like the weight on this one too, though. The 4 Maxes to me are a little bit on the heavy side. And I'm sure there's a lot of people like the 4 Maxes. But to me, they're kind of heavy. 10 ounces is a lot of weight for one of these. And they're a little bit, because of the heft, they're a little bit more to deal with when you're manipulating them. But they're a beautiful knife though. I like the way they're made. But I only need 2 of these. These are the only 2 I'm probably going to have. But I'm going to get another one of these. And I'll probably get another one of the Scorpions because I know I'm going to like the Scorpion too. The AD-15. Let's see what I'm saying. These are a lot easier to manipulate. It has to do with the size. And this one doesn't weigh too much. 6.9 ounces. Really feels like it weighs less than 6.9 ounces. Beautiful blade. It centers perfectly. But I gotta find out about this part right here though. Better than that, it's perfect. Definitely want another. Because even if this is the way that they're supposed to be, that'll work for me. That wouldn't stop me from wanting this knife. I just think it's kind of weird to have on a folding knife, they have the tang exposed. Unless you have like some other kind of, different lockup system like the Scorpion lock. But on the standard lock black, to me the tang should be hidden. Tang's hidden on these. Let's see. See what I'm talking about? Tang's hidden on that. On the Italian version. But anyway, I hope Coach still gets a chance to see this video. If they do, please let me know if the tang's supposed to be like that or not. Because I know I looked at lots of videos of the AD-10s and I don't never remember seeing an exposed tang like that on the Andrew Demko's Customs. Sort of looks like they went too far with trimming this back right in here. It should have come out a little bit further. At least to cover the tang. But other than that, this knife is perfect. I love it. See how it is with the left hand. They did an excellent job on the lock bar too, because this lock bar feels really good. I would highly recommend this knife. And I know I'm gonna like the Scorpion. I don't have my hands on the Scorpion yet, but I'm gonna highly recommend that one too. It's about time Cold Steel made these. Thank you, Andrew. Happy Valentine's Day, Andrew. But anyway, I love these. Just curious about the way the tang extends past the handle there on the grip. I'll find out. I'll let you guys know what I find out. Peace out. Stiletto. Happy 2019.